Hey, welcome back. We're fighting Mama Broodall with Chompikins.
You then still didn't say or be square?
I don't want to say be square because that is so overused. Aren't you the one who's against overuse? Like,
No, I'm against repetition in your memes.
Yeah, well,
You have never said be there or be square.
I have, but not really around you, but everyone says be there or be square. That is just boring in general, not necessarily
How about
for
be
me.
there or be Claire?
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't really like Claire, but I'm a Claire apologist in some ways.
Okay.
Well, not Claire apologist. I'm a Claire defender.
You're a Claire bear?
Claire Bear. That's what Claire's mom called her, I think. So.
I was making a reference to the TV show Heroes.
Oh no.
There's a supervillain who calls her Claire Bear.
I see.
Yeah, supervillain.
Oh, well, I've never seen Heroes, so I can't comment. So childhood.
Childhood, right. You had more, like, childhood-related questions, right?
A little bit. It's been 8 hours since I listened to the childhood podcast, so... Oh, here's something. No, I don't know if I want to bring it up, because...
Go ahead.
Okay, I guess we'll start by addressing it as oftentimes growing up, like, there will always be some adult who will tell you that you're going to grow out of something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you get older. What was that for you? Like, what were you told you were going to grow out of?
Lots of things. Cartoons was one of them. Video games was another one. By the time I found My Little Pony, I was already in my 20s, so that didn't happen.
Yeah. Yep, nope.
What's another thing I was told that I would give up on? A lot of it was, like, politics and stuff. Like,
really?
Yeah, because, my mother's very, very, very conservative.
Yeah. And you're very not.
I'm very not. Yeah. The most conservative thing that I ever said is, like, in the mid-2000s when I called people faggot. Yeah, that's not going to start any fights.
No, not really.
Come get me.
The most conservative you are now is the fact that you're a Christian, that's it.
I wouldn't even really call that conservative because,
no.
Like, a huge amount of that is, not really conservative.
I only say that because the stereotype is conservatives are all Christians.
And Christians are all conservatives.
Yeah. There's just that assumption out in our society, which isn't necessarily untrue, except for, the Christians who aren't, conservatives. But it just happens that a massive amount of conservatives are Christians.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that anybody who's listening to us talk about me being a Christian immediately was like, oh, well, that means that you must be an idiot.
Yeah, well, I'm
a
certain.
A huge number of people. In fact, that kind of cuts our audience in half, I think. To the point where I'm considering editing it out, even though I'm not really shy about it.
Do as you like. I don't fucking care.
I'm probably leaving it in.
Okay. Well, if you feel better, I can throw my hat in the ring. Because, I don't care. If you fucking hate me because I'm fucking Christian, well, fuck you. You're probably one of those people who...
See, it's that attitude that makes people hate you.
Like...
Because... The obvious counter to that is nobody hates you because you're Christian, except for, like, they hate you because of the things that you say because you're Christian. That's the usual counter, but that means that they have to first put words in our mouths of what it is that we're saying.
My thoughts exactly.
Which is the problem in the first place.
Yeah, because I haven't said anything, that,
Except you give them permission to put words in your mouth when you say that.
In my mind, then, those people just don't matter, because...
But you made the problem worse yourself just now.
Fine. Then cut that bit out. Fuck this.
Not leaving it in.
Fuck everything. So here I am, like, oh, I want to work on the internet because, you know, it's better than fucking talking to people. And then I realize, oh, internet people fucking suck too because they don't fucking care about you. They just want to do their own thing. So, you know, what do you do? What do you do? I guess you just go fucking die. Or you, like, you know, you could just kill yourself by doing this fucking job that you hate. Or you could do the fucking job that you love and then be berated by fucking idiots all day. What do you do? I don't know. Just be miserable. Nobody cares. Lay down and die.
Lay down and rot.
Well, no, lay down. I don't care. It's lay down and die, apparently, in my mind.
Eldar.
Also, this is not to say that I support the black pill incel mentality. It's just, you know, lay down and die, rot. It's useful for other thoughts.
This place is cool.
It is. It's a little too white.
Most people have a really interesting trajectory with Christianity where they get exposed to it when they're a child and then they stop when they become not a child. And there was actually a really interesting moment on King of the Hill, of all things, where Hank Hill was like, he was discouraging his son from getting into Christian rock because what he was saying is, look, I'm glad that you want to think that the Bible is cool and all, but I don't want, like, this is all a phase. You will leave this behind, and I don't want you to leave God behind too, which is a cool message.
That is.
Like, that's one of those things that, even if you don't agree with it, it is such an interesting piece of storytelling that it makes that... Yo, Cappy.
No, Cappy, no!
It makes the show worth revisiting if you didn't remember anything about it. Just that fact on its own.
So, you say that, like, you know, Christians getting exposed to it earlier and leaving?
Yeah.
That was totally me.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And then and then someone scared me into becoming a Christian again, and it was like, then once I was away from that person, I was able to be like, you know, I was fucking abused into being a Christian, fuck this, and then you logicked me into it. Then it was like, okay, this is better.
Yeah, that's gonna be an upcoming Mask article / video that, like, Mask and I have been arguing religion since forever. It was one of the first things that we argued because, so that trajectory of start being raised Christian, become atheist, that was my trajectory. Mm-hmm. And that was the opposite trajectory for Mask. And I listened to everything that Mask had to say about it and was like, hang on, I need to...
You need to be a real boy.
There we go. Got him.
Yeah. His hair slicked back is weird. Or
Yeah.
slicked to the side.
It was an interesting conversation, and then we just never stopped talking about it. Like, it was half of our conversations with Jen. It was like, and then we had that conversation with you, and then like reconverted you.
Yeah. You know what fucking scared me into becoming Christian?
The
Left Behind movie. The first one.
Left Behind.
You know,
is that a movie about the rapture?
It is, yes.
Oh, that's shitty.
It was. Like, I was in fucking tears, and my friend was all like, you know, this wouldn't happen to you if, you know, you're a Christian.
That's a double shitty thing to say to somebody.
It is. And it's fucking weird, because, you know, my friend was scared, like, from an early age, because his father is a fucking maniac and would have his kids, as kids, listen to fucking scary, like, audio things about hell and how fucked up it is. So it's just like...
When that's not biblical. Like, fuck you, man.
It's just like, well, then why are you doing this to me? And, of course, you know, when it was happening, I didn't have the wherewithal to understand that it's happening. It was just like, fuck this. And, you know... An interesting thing about the Left Behind thing is that, one, I was kind of scared for myself, but more so I was scared for everyone else, like, who would be left behind. It was just like, well, why are you okay with just Why is this a barrier to entry? Ugh.
You know what one of my favorite counters to that is? Wait, first clarify what you were saying just now.
Just the idea that good people would be left behind, that really fucking bothered me.
Because it's by what definition of good, and the counter is, how do you make a good AI? You train it on a data set where you're like training it for instructions.
Like towards the underside of the slope so it doesn't hit you, I think. Like there.
Right there?
Yeah, that's why I think, so then the fire doesn't hit you, because otherwise, you keep getting hit by it. There's gotta be a way to avoid the fire, otherwise it's kind of broken.
Well, you can jump over it. I've done it.
I must have missed that then.
You just need a lot of airtime.
Okay.
So, we had that conversion conversation with you, and that's why you came back around.
Well, yeah,
and it's full of a lot of good points that will hopefully make it into an article if Mass crawls out of the depression hole.
Alright, get to the underside. Try that. Oh, what? Bullshit! I disagree. Okay, fine, you're right. I'm wrong. Big surprise.
Damn it!
Huh. Okay, but yeah, childhood.
Okay,
we were talking about things that you'd grow out of.
Things that we'd grow out of.
So, when I heard the procrastinators talking about this, I immediately started thinking, well, what was I told I'd grow out of? And then, so this is going to be a fucking messed up thought, but I just want to voice it, I guess, because it's just something that I live with. So, I don't necessarily remember being told that I'd grow out of something, although I'm sure that I was. But the thing that there are two things that I most remember. One, my mom telling me that one day when I'm older, I'm going to, like, I guess I'm going... Oh, fuck it, what was it? I just had it. Like, the sort of idea that I'm going to understand all the things that she did for us. And then on top of that, the one thing that I can remember most of her saying about us being kids is her essentially hoping that our kids do 10 times worse than what we were like.
That's it. Evil. That's actually evil.
Yeah, it is. And, I don't necessarily understand why I wanted to bring it up. I guess just, to voice this thing that is just in my head about my childhood, because,
Yeah, because my mother says the exact same thing to my sister.
Yeah, it's just like, and we weren't necessarily terribly bad. We were just being kids, and we needed parenting guidance. We needed to not have to solve our, fucking kid disputes on our own, which we ended up having to do a lot of the times.
With violence?
Well, not necessarily that, but just in some way. We had to essentially solve our own problems, because whenever it'd come up to my mom, she would just not really... She would do, like, the shortcut type way of parenting, not really understanding the actual dispute, and just do whatever would just get us quiet the quickest, although it wouldn't, because, one party would always be like, but you're not fucking listening to me, and you're being unfair to me, and okay, don't bring anything up to you then.
Yep. One of the things that I wish I understood as a kid is stop trying to connect to these people. It will not work. You can't be honest with them. You cannot, you have to conduct yourself in a, secretive way where you are hiding your actual feelings until you are able to function on your own, where you don't have to worry about this.
Kind of. I'm not saying that we were, the perfect kids, and definitely, some fucked up things happened with us that, they're kind of rather disturbing, but that's not to say that we weren't created that way. We we grew up in an environment that sort of encouraged that way of being. Oh, well, that was needlessly scary. Yeah, okay, let's move on from this, because one, we're starting to get back into parents or like adults suck when you're a kid, and then also just going back down a rabbit hole that I didn't think talking about this would bring me into, but just kind of want to look away from it.
Yeah. Point was, your childhood sucked.
I guess, and I just wanted to... I don't know what I wanted to achieve from it, but just recognize that it happened. Whoa. What? Wait.
Yep.
What? What? Whoa. What? What? I have no words for this.
That's right. Uh-huh. You understand what's happening here.
Oh my god. Wait. So...
Oh, yeah.
Will Peach be wanting to marry Bowser as long as it's Mario in here? I don't know. This brings up a lot of questions that I don't think they were prepared to answer. You smash, you attack? What? Oh my gosh. This is so weird. Okay, so more about childhood. Trying to remember some of the other things that they talked about. So what were some things you did as a kid, like, for entertainment? Like, did you have toys?
We had... Alright, so there's this one story that my mother always, latches onto, is that there was this one toy, which I'm not going to name here because, I don't want to revive the meme. But...
Oh, you should tell me afterwards, because now I'm curious.
Well, it was kind of like Power Rangers, but it was not. Okay?
Huh. I might not know it then.
Yeah, if you were not alive at the time, then you wouldn't have no idea what I'm talking about.
Holy crap, Bowser just... How did... That's not even fucking possible. Except that it is, but yeah.
Yeah. Am I not on the clock anymore? Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Okay. And because this is a Babby game for Babbies, they waited for me to... Nope, going this way. Okay. Come on. There we go.
Huh.
So...
Okay, you had this toy that you're not
It was
gonna revive
incredibly
me for.
fragile and not designed to be a toy, it seems, because, it was a motorcycle with a guy on it. And the motorcycle would break the instant you touched it. It had this, battle armor on it, and it didn't actually snap on or anything like that. It was just, very lightly held in place by, a peg and slot where the peg was half the size of the slot. Something like that. You could get it in, but if you touched it, that's it. It is broken. And, all the pieces would fall off. And I wanted to drive it around like a motorcycle like they did in the commercial. And every single time I touched it, it broke instantly, and I had a meltdown for 20 minutes over how terrible it was.
Understandably so. What is it?
I felt betrayed.
What's the story that your mom tells about it?
Oh, she just brings it up every time.
Why?
And then she, reenacts me having a meltdown about it.
Well, understandably so. It's
because she thought that me being sad about being lied to about this thing, this toy that I wanted so badly was the only thing that I asked for weeks. I think it was weeks. I don't know. I was a kid. I didn't have a sense of time.
Yeah.
I don't have a sense of time now.
Yeah, no.
It was really important to me, is the point. And it broke. And the thing that I don't like is that it's the fact that I was sad about it is still a joke.
Yeah, that's
really shitty.
monstrous. Welcome back to parents being shitty, and we come from terrible childhoods, but
Hey,
it's
mine
not
was
really
way better than yours.
Welcome back. Oh no! I was saying something. No, but yeah, that you are right. But welcome back to Shade Childhoods that
Shady Childhoods, the podcast.
that we've had, but you know it's not that special because you know everyone's had a shitty childhood. They just don't talk about it.
That's not even true. That's
Really?
the worst part. Is that a lot of people have happy childhoods and
Oh no, that actually makes me feel good because you know all I see is people being sad and not upset with their childhood is not the right word, but more just like encountering things that a child shouldn't have to deal with.
yeah,
like,
like being molested.
Well, yeah, that's all I see on the internet these days. Just, you know, fucking depression, self-harm, just everything that you think, why would a kid have to deal with this? But for me at least, it's heartwarming to know that not everyone has to deal with the bullshit. You know, because it actually bothers me to know that I'm not alone in my shitty, like, life.
Mm-hmm.
That actually really, really bothers me. And if anyone tries to comfort me by saying, like, hey, I experienced this too, it's gonna be like, well, fucking thanks. The world fucking sucks. Why am I still here?
The only winning move is not to play.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
The world sucks, and so does most people in it. So do most people in it. So does... Most people does suck.
As do most people.
As do most people in it. There we go.
Yeah. I solved your problem. Like, I don't know what I was trying to say there.
So...
Oh, side note, apparently the Mario song isn't on the Mario Odyssey song isn't on Spotify.
You mean...
Quick!
This Mario Odyssey song?
Like, you know, like...
Let's do the Odyssey.
Yeah, that one, yeah. Yeah, it's not on Spotify, and I think Nintendo's missing out on a fuck ton of things.
Well, Spotify is not it's not the central hub of all of music.
Well, no, but they should put it... Oh my god, this must be horrifying for Peach. Because, you know, Mario's used to it, but Peach isn't.
Peach has never done that before.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, put it somewhere so that someone can buy the song, you know?
People want to be able to buy the song and listen to it.
Yeah, just put it out somewhere. So
Well, you know where you can put it? You know where it definitely is 100% super forever?
Where?
Piracy.
Oh, well, it's on YouTube too, but, you know.
Which means that it's been downloaded by millions of people.
Yeah, and I could download it, but I just want it on Spotify, because that's where, like, I wanted to add it to a certain playlist, but I can't.
Spotify sucks.
It
gives you the illusion of paying people, but you're actually paying for a subscription.
Yeah.
And all of the money goes to the people who are providing the service, which is normally fine, except for they have a total lockdown in the entire music industry, and the entire music industry is essentially held hostage and can't do anything about it at all. It takes you 100,000
Wait, are you
listens.
serious? Like, now Bowser is proposing? A little too fucking late for that,
people,
man.
Like 100,000 listens in order to give somebody a single penny, and it's just the worst.
Wait a minute! She rejected Mario!
Yeah, because Mario is actually secretly a nice guy. Hashtag nice guys.
So what's happening now? Is she fucking leaving them? Oh my
hope so.
god! I did not expect this game to go this way! What the
I like
hell?
this.
Hold on! No more conversation. Dude! You're bros and being rejected. Why did you do that, Mario?
No honor among thieves.
I guess. That was an So, now I have to wonder what the dynamic for Mario games going forward is going to be. Like, is this supposed to be the be-all, end-all of the Mario Saves Peach thing? Or, like, are they just going to continue with it and just have this, like, that one time where Mario tried to propose to Peach, but, you know, he's such a beta orbiter that he's just going to stay around her now and keep rescuing her?
No, he's worse than a beta orbiter. He's a hashtag nice guy.
I don't... Like,
Yo, for serious? Nice guy, hashtag nice guys are so much further down the totem pole than beta orbiters. I would way rather be... I have been a beta orbiter before, and I like it better than being a hashtag nice guy.
So I joke...
Which I was also before.
I joke about beta orbiter, but frankly, that's what I would do. If there's someone that I like who doesn't like me back, it's like, well, I still like you as a person, and just because you don't want to be romantic with me doesn't mean I don't want you in my life anymore.
Yeah, because what do you want out of being romantic with that person? You want to spend time with them. You want to, like, dote affection on them, which you can do through, like, gifts and stuff.
Yeah, or just being a decent fucking person.
Yeah, and this is the thing that led to that one time I was in a 4-way.
Yeah, exactly.
So it paid off. Yeah. Don't lose hope, beta orbiters. It pays off. You won't be the only sausage in the bun, but it pays off.
Oh my god. But yeah, this opens up a lot of questions that, you know, people have posited about Mario before, but now the game itself is addressing it. I don't know what. Skip the movie.
Yes, I skipped it.
No,
the credits.
No, they said movie on there, so what's this? What is this? Froggos.
Froggos?
Yes! Them and their weird faces just being like, you know, with their top hats. I'm making a face, but no one can see it because this is audio. Mushroom Kingdom. Music has been added to the map screen. Cool. Okay, let's... Yeah, nothing against beta orbiters. What were we talking about? We were talking about childhood.
Things that we did as a child.
Oh yeah,
like childhood exploits.
Yeah,
toys.
Yeah, toys
okay,
and
so
things done for fun.
That was a bad example of me having an experience with a toy. But, like, I have had good experiences with toys. In fact, I had many of them. I had an arsenal of Power Rangers toys, which I wanted to send to Linkara, and so I brought them with me in a box so that I could, like, sort out which ones were broken and mail the unbroken ones to Linkara. But then I realized that shipping is expensive, and so I just kind of kept them. So that's why we have, like, a box full of Power Rangers toys, like over there in that cabinet.
I didn't know we had that. I've not really been over there, but yeah.
Power Rangers toys, old Nerf guns, that kind of stuff. Those Nerf guns are actually super valuable, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they still work.
Oh. Okay.
And they are good Nerf guns. And have you priced a Nerf gun lately? No, you haven't. They are very expensive.
I haven't. We only owned one Nerf gun, and at that point I wasn't really terribly into Nerf guns.
They're less expensive than Legos, but that doesn't tell you much.
I see. So I just thought of something from my childhood about toys.
What's up?
So, you know, I played with dolls. I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah, but you were a girl.
Well, yeah, but, you know, there's that whole, I'm not like any other, I'm not like
other girls?
Yeah, but, you know, I like playing with dolls, because, you know, I'm very story-driven. And
I'm not like other girls. I have a tail.
Yeah, quite. So, this is kind of another fucked up story, but it's just something that I look on, just like, oh yeah, this happened. So
I need to write down a topic. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was at an age where I think that's when it happened, where I wasn't playing with dolls as much anymore, but I still valued them because, you know, I still had my fucking favorite dolls.
Yeah.
I had the ones that I always wanted to use whenever I was playing with them. And so one day, one of my brothers invites his friend over, and they go down to the basement, and they fucking take off half the dolls' heads. And I can't fucking remember what they did with the fucking heads. And so, next thing I know, it's like, oh, they're just, the heads are just gone, and apparently the friend took the heads or something. I was like, dude, why the fuck would you do this? And it's like, you never play with them anymore. It's like, but they're my dolls!
Yeah, that's really shitty.
Yeah, it was. Again, my brother was a less good person when we were younger. Like, I don't know if he's necessarily as great of a person.
Oh, like, I just thought of something.
Here, I don't know if he's that good of a person right now, but he's definitely better than he was.
I thought of a transgression that I had almost mercifully forgotten.
Oh no, well, do you want to bring it up, or is that too painful?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I want the world to know that I remember, because you remember this too.
That's not a moon.
No, it's a star.
You fucking liar. Okay, but yeah, you're going on.
I remember. And you who have had this happen to you will remember it too. No, Mom, I did not want my sister to play my Pokemon Blue version because she's gonna start a new file and then she's gonna save because she's an idiot and she's going to erase everything. And she did. And I sank 50 some odd hours into that game and she erased it. Everything that I had built up to that point. My team, my friends. She killed my friends.
Oh my god. When you put it that way. I don't think I've had anything quite like that, although I did have, like, thinking about it, there must have been instances of that, like, with Sims for the PlayStation 2 and other video games, because, you know, we were poor, but there was 4 of us, and we all wanted to play the same games, but, you know, there wasn't enough save files, so then we had to, you know, sometimes compromise, sometimes it's like, well, you don't play this anymore, it's like, yeah, but what if I pick it up again? I want my same stuff still. And, you know, just having to deal with that. And I don't have the emotions that I did anymore because I don't remember particular instances anymore. But yeah,
I remember.
I totally get that, yeah.
I'm going to say something super dark right here.
Oh, no.
I wish... Okay, so we cut a huge section right here where I said something really, really offensive about, like, relating to overwriting my save file with my Pokemon.
Yeah, and I reamed into him about it.
Just... be aware that I said something that was so bad that it got deleted from the show.
Yeah.
And I don't normally stand for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I still don't stand for that kind of thing, but, like, she makes a good point.
Yeah.
Vamp makes a good point here about... Fuck it.
Man. Let's see. More on toys, like... I'm trying to remember...
The point is, I will never, ever forgive that, and I'm never getting over it.
Understandable.
And it doesn't matter that you were a dumb kid. No, you weren't that dumb. You knew exactly what you were doing. And I'm also never forgiving my mother for not understanding it, because it's such... It requires, like, the lowest level of understanding of what video games are and how they work.
Yeah. Yeah. So, thinking about it, a lot of my favorite toys were some of the ones that would come with McDonald's Happy Meals.
Fascinating.
Just because that we had those, and, you know, some of them were just pretty. Like, there's one, not quite angelic, more fairy-like doll that I just loved because I just loved her aesthetic, like, everything about her.
We should try and find it.
It's gone.
On eBay or something like that, so I can see a picture.
I have no way of knowing, like, what it was even called, because by the time, like, in my memory, by the time, like, I was able to use it, like, it was out of its packaging, and just... there's no way to search for, like, a memory. Like, you know, just...
You'd be surprised. I have some pretty strong Google foo.
If I just give a description of the doll, I don't think... Because I don't give good descriptions in the first place.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, we had My Little Pony, like, original generation, or, like, one of the early generation toys, but I didn't care about them because I didn't watch the show. It was just like, oh, look, there's these ponies that we just have, because I had 2 older sisters who were kids before I was. And so we just had a lot of their toys.
Well, if you had older sisters, then of course they were kids before you were.
Maybe I have to explain that, you know, you don't know.
If they were not kids before you were, then they had that Benjamin Button disease, where they age backwards and they're born super wrinkly.
Exactly. You didn't really get that, did you? Because you didn't have anyone come before you, so...
Yeah, I'm the oldest child.
Yeah. I had a lot of secondhand clothes, too. And didn't really think of them as secondhand clothes until I got older and realized, wait a minute, these are from a very different, like, fashion sense.
Yeah, all of my same-gendered siblings are, 1, younger than me, and 2, like, by that long sense, by that point, there was like, divorce. So,
yeah, they didn't live with you, so there wasn't a chance to share anything.
Right. That was never an option, which means it was never a problem.
Well, it wasn't necessarily a problem, because, well, it wasn't, okay, it wasn't a problem for me, because by the time, like, by the time I was able to like use a lot of their stuff, they were grown up and like moved out.
Interesting.
So I just remembered, it's not that interesting.
What?
I remember learning how to ride a bike in this rather small, like, backyard because we were living in Chicago at the time. Oh yeah, he doesn't like water.
Yeah, he does not like water.
And it was also not the smoothest surface. It was like rather cracked, cracked pavement that we had in our backyard. And also really couldn't ride very much outside, like in front, because you know it was Chicago. Although I do have a memory of like riding at least with my brother, like on the road that we lived on. Oh, I remember something embarrassing for my brother, but he's never gonna watch this. So I can't remember how old I was, probably 8 or something. And we lived in a time where there were Kmarts.
Well, there's a Kmart in our town.
Well, yeah, but you know it's dying. It's got to be because it looks like it's dying.
It always looks like it's dying. The lights are always like on half brightness.
Yeah, and it's like mostly empty. The parking lot hasn't been redone in years.
Yeah.
You can tell it's on its last leg, and you're just surprised like it's still here.
How are you still here, Kmart?
But yeah, so we live near a Kmart in walking distance, really. But, you know, I was a kid, so I couldn't go anywhere without parents. And, you know, it was Chicago, so rightfully so. And so it was in a time where my 2 younger siblings were in a stroller, but my brother, who is a year younger than me, and we were old enough to where we could get bikes. And he couldn't quite ride a bike yet, but I had some proficiency with riding a bike, so it was fine with me bringing the bike home. But for him, he was dragging this pretty decently sized bike for his little frame, and his pants were falling down the whole way through. And here I was just like, well, if I can learn to ride a bike, yo. Just that memory in my head of that happening. I kind of wish that I have to, half don't, because I don't know what kind of effect it would have had on me. But part of me wishes that I could have spent a lot more time growing up in Chicago just because of the ease of access to so many different things.
So,
just close to a bunch of stuff.
The main thing that I took from that is something that I wanted to talk about when you brought up the topic of childhood, that I had just forgotten. Riding bicycles.
Oh yeah, riding bikes.
Yes.
What about it?
Okay, so when you're a kid, the bicycle is like the portal of freedom.
Oh yes, yes. I have a whole thing about that, but go ahead, say your thing.
Okay, did I ever tell you how Mask and I met?
No.
Okay, so when I was a really little kid, the way that I learned... This is going to be a very roundabout story, just so you know.
Okay. I'll get some soda for it.
I was taught to ride a bike by my mother in this, like, gravel alley behind our house. It wasn't really a house, it was like an apartment, but it was like a flat apartment. And the space that we currently live in right now, this floor, is like double, maybe triple the size of that apartment.
Yeah, you told me about that, yeah.
So I was taught to ride a bike in like the worst possible way, and I hated it. I absolutely hated being taught to... I wanted my training wheels forever. They had me ride on one training wheel for a while. It was months of like training wheels. No, I don't want to ride a bike. And they would try to teach me one way, and it wouldn't work.
Here, there's your sheep, bro, behind you.
And they'd try to teach me a different way, and that wouldn't work either. I want that.
I don't know if you can get it.
It's obviously a green mushroom. It's important. Cool.
It's behind you. Oh.
Alright, fine.
Well, it came back.
So, eventually my mother is like, you know what, screw this. Look, we're riding. You're learning to ride a bike today, and like I was like, no, I don't wanna. And so she took me out there, and she like for like 3-4 hours or something like that. I like it. We kept trying. By we I mean she kept trying to get me to ride a bike without training wheels and to balance and stuff, and I just was not having it because I was an obstinate little kid, and I kept falling and it hurt and I was scared, and I did get it eventually, and when I got it, I was like, there, you got what you wanted. Are you happy now? I hate you.
Oh, you killed it!
Okay, I'm just gonna go back and find it again.
Oh my god. What if it's still down there, actually? What if it's
Whatever.
alive? Okay.
So,
sheep. To the right. Yeah.
I said, you got what you wanted. I'm done. I hate you. I'm never talking to you again. And then I went to the building that was attached to ours was my grandmother's house. And, well, apartment. It was 2 apartments.
Here, you don't want to take him that way. You want to bring him that way.
There was 2 apartments attached to each other, and one of them was my grandmother's.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother was like, why are you, like, she was investigating why I was crying. And then my mother was, like, actually, like, kind of hurt and mad. And she went to talk to me, and I threw a ball at her head. And I'm like,
oh, shit.
It was, like, 2 hours later. I'm like, I threw a ball at her head and was like, no, I still hate you. I'm never forgiving you.
Oh, shit.
And this became a huge deal because my grandmother, a very old-fashioned kind of person, was like, you don't hate her, say you're sorry. And I'm like, and my mother was right there, and I looked at my grandmother and then kind of like sideways looked off in a total anime way, which
Haru.
I could not have done with a reference because I didn't know what anime was because I only knew Western cartoons. I looked off to the side and was like, I might forgive her later, but I'm not gonna say I'm sorry because I don't mean it.
Oh shit.
I'm not gonna say I'm sorry when I don't mean it. Mm-hmm. I stand by everything I said. Now I'm phrasing it to you way more eloquently than I said it at the time because I was like 4, but she was so hurt, and I never apologized.
Shit, man.
And then right there, I'm like 4 years old, and I swear, you know what? I'm not it's true. I'm not apologizing for things I'm not sorry for. And as I was telling that story, years later, the person I would come to know later as Mask was like, you too, huh? Like, not the same experience, but the same philosophy of, I will not apologize unless it's something I really mean.
Wait, what?
This was much, much later, and I'm telling this story to my friends. Oh. And Mask overhears. I was like, I've never heard anybody else say the same thing about apologies as me. We're friends now.
Oh, that could be.
We became friends over being bitter assholes. And unwilling to apologize. Isn't that great?
Yeah, I like it. Wow.
That's a supervillain origin story right there.
A bit, yeah. It strikes me that I have no idea how I learned how to ride a bike, considering how much of a wimp I am and given to my fears.
If it wasn't for the fact that I tell that story all the time, or I did at like once upon a time, because I was like, my not apologizing to people became a big thing. When I met Gene, it was a big thing because I apologized to him, and he's like, and I'm like, look, not only am I sorry, let me tell you a story about why that's important. I was like 6 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I did not phrase it as eloquently as that, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. And it became, like, a big thing where one of the ways that I would know that I'm really a friend to someone is if I do something wrong to them and apologize for it. Yeah. It means that I'm putting them above myself, which was not a big thing for me because I was an asshole, remember?
Yep.
And or that I did something that I regretted. And usually if I did something that I would regret or feel bad about, I would always say, well, I'm not apologizing anyway because like you're beneath me.
I see.
I have stopped doing that. I mean, I still think people are beneath me, but I've stopped like not apologizing.
Yeah, because
when I'm wrong.
That's just mean.
Yeah, I will apologize when I'm wrong. But I used to be my litmus test for being a friend to someone.
Understandable, yeah. Yeah, I have no idea how I learned how to ride a bike, but I'm so
That's what we took from that. Go on.
No.
Go ahead.
I just have nothing else to say on that.
It's kind of a fucked up story.
A little bit, and I'm actually also surprised that you didn't want to let go of your training wheels.
Yeah, because I'm such a skill-based guy.
You are. You're the one telling me, hey...
You need to learn how to swim.
Yeah, you're the one saying, oh, fuck your fear of swimming. Let's just teach you how to swim.
I learned how to swim before I learned how to ride a bike.
That's interesting. But yeah, I don't know how they taught me how to ride a bike, considering how afraid of everything I am. But I'm so glad that I did learn how to ride a bike because... So, I moved out of Chicago when I was in, like, the 4th grade. And I moved to an area north of Chicago, a few hours north. And there just wasn't anything nearby my house for walking. And here in the U.S., if you don't live in the city, or even, like... If you don't live certain cities, then
if you don't live in the right part of the right city,
yeah, then you just don't have public transportation at all. Like there was the Pace bus, but their like scheduled routes were like few and far between, and like only in certain areas, so that just didn't work. And like so in my area, if you wanted to pick up and drop off somewhere, you had to fucking schedule that thing. So that was just not happening.
Yeah, you had to call and schedule it, and you didn't get a cell phone until you were when?
I didn't get a real cell phone until I didn't get any kind of cell phone until I think my freshman or sophomore year, because the reason why I got it was because I had no real way of telling my parents, hey, musical practice is going to let out X time, so come pick me up. Or, like, I had no way of saying, like, hey, we're just about done. That sort of thing. Like, I'd have to use one of my friend's phones in order to do that. But, yeah, regardless, if I wanted to get somewhere, I basically had to ride my bike because, yeah, my parents had cars, but they weren't always reliable, you know, because they had shit they were going to do, and, you know, we're poor, so gas money. So then it's like, well, if I want to go to, like, the Walgreens and just fuck off, or just explore the area around me, because I'm a kid, and I don't... Or, well, I'm young enough to where I can't drive and I'm fucking poor, so I couldn't even buy a car anyways. So, I would bike around, like... You
explored way more than I explored. Because I never left the neighborhood.
Oh, I had to...
Well, we were surrounded by highways on all sides.
Oh, yeah. Like,
that's why.
There was a major road that ran... So, I lived in a subdivision, and there was a not super major, but a rather decently major road that ran on the outside of our subdivision, and for a while it was taboo to even leave our subdivision and go to the next one over. But then after a while I was like, well, fuck this, I don't need to tell anyone that's what I did. So I would just go, I would take it in increments. I'd go a little bit each way as far as I was comfortable, whether that be physical or just like anxiety, like what if I get in trouble or something. But it would get to the point where I would end up, the bike ride must have been at least like a half an hour. Just because, you know, I was also slow and my body's not like in the bestest shape even then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd end up biking about a half hour just to go to like a Walgreens, or sometimes I'd bike to the library, which would be a little longer and a little more dangerous because I'd be biking down more major roads. But it was a sort of freedom for me, especially when I like, especially in high school, because then I got to do some things, not so much with my friends, because oftentimes, like, with my friends, either they'd pick me up or I'd be dropped off, but more like just going to places that I wanted to go to. And then a little bit when I got out of high school and started working and started having like actual money for things, just going to the store and buy candy was a huge thing for me, because just like it's something that I could just do. And even now, I kind of enjoy grocery shopping because, it's just, I could just do it. Yoshi being like that, it's fucking adorable. Just hanging out on the wall. But yeah, and I know some of my siblings, not so much my youngest brother, because he wasn't really great at riding a bike in the first place. I don't think he actually even learned how to. We kept trying to teach him, but he didn't really learn it. But for us, biking was a major piece of freedom.
So, when I got like into biking in a major way, was my first experience with a mountain bike, the kind of which I can probably stand up on it, like sit on the seat and touch the ground now because I have longer legs, but at the time that was not an option. So you had to have momentum. And this was also right around when like a whole bunch of anime and stuff was coming out, and I became like a kind of chinibyo about it, where like I'd run beside my bike, I'd put my foot on the pedal and then stand up on it and like strike a pose as I'm standing both feet still on the left side, and it would make the clicking sound as it went forward, and then I would get my leg over and I would ride my bike like a normal person, and I would always dismount that way too. Like I would always go to both feet on one side, on the same pedal.
Oh, there's the last sheep that you needed.
Yeah, there's the last sheep. At least I know where it is now. I'm getting fruit though.
Okay. I remember the coolest thing that you could do on a bike at one point was...
Oh, this was in Texas, by the way.
Oh.
So you had to like make sure to not drive through the hills of any fire ants because they would fuck you up.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that.
I would also made climbing trees a bit of an adventure because you didn't know, like, we had this thing, like, the ants were our enemies, and we had to mess them up by breaking their anthills to give them work, and if they spent too much effort on it, we thought they would die. So like we would go around to all the anthills in the neighborhood, which we had scouted out and like named, like this is bee colony, this is and so on. And then we started giving them like name and number code, and we called things sectors, but it doesn't look like a sector at all in real life. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we would also climb all the trees in the neighborhood, and some of them had fire ants in them, and they would bite the shit out of you. It was like getting bee stings.
Jeez.
Only there would be like 100 of them, and you wouldn't realize it until they decided to attack you like a few minutes after they got all over you.
Wait, you're running away from fruit. It's on the ground.
There's fruit right there.
Yeah, but there's one on the ground right there.
Oh, that's an acorn.
Oh, it looks like fruit. Oh, Yoshi.
So,
Wait, your fruit.
Yeah, we would climb some trees, and then some of the trees would be claimed by the enemy. And we would have to, like find out which one it was, and then, like, kill the anthill at the bottom. And it was a whole thing.
I see.
Yeah, and so we would ride our bikes around the neighborhood into the greenways behind the houses, and try to find and kill all of the fire ants, which we never succeeded at, because you can't kill fire ants by like messing with their anthills.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Onward.
Man, I'm so glad I didn't live in Texas. Like,
Yeah, that did kind of suck.
yeah, I can't
It was
even
also
imagine.
so hot that an entire sports team died
Really?
of heat stroke. It was the next town over from us, but it was all over the news.
Fucking hell.
I don't remember any other details about it, just that the whole football team died.
You should finish up getting fruit, and then we should wrap this up because I'm getting tired.
Gotcha. Oh, I have like 10 more things.
I know. Write them down.
I do, though.
I'm certain you do. I have no doubts about that.
Alright,
Yeah, fucking Texas,
bicycles. That was bicycles.
Yeah.
What was some other... Did you ever, like, well... I was going to say you wouldn't have because you didn't know how to swim, but, like, what was your childhood experience with water? Were you just, like, never around a pool, or what's the deal?
One of the things that we always looked forward to in going, like, on vacation was swimming. Like, you know, most of us didn't really know how to swim. Bleep that out. Fuck it, I said his real name, but one of my brothers knew how to swim-ish. Like, when I'm thinking about it, like, it wasn't really swimming, but it was better than any of us could do. So, you know, he would be the one to do that, but then us, we would just kind of mess around in the water. Like, that'd be about it. Like, you know, I'd go underwater, and I'd always, you know, hold my nose because I was afraid of that stuff thing. But, yeah, I kind of tried to swim while holding my nose. Yeah, I knew I wasn't really getting far, but it's just like, I'm not gonna do this. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. I think at one point we tried to play Marco Polo, maybe a few times, but that wasn't really one of our go-to things.
Yo, the best pool game is Sharks and Minnows. You need, like, 14 people, though.
I never played Sharks and Minnows. The Sharks and Minnows that I know is... I wonder if it... Oh, you fucked up! I was just thinking, oh, what if you just go into the water? Oh, no, probably can't do that. Oh, they're coming back, though. Okay, but the Sharks and Minnows I knew was from school. Like, the game where... what was it? I think, so we would have two teams. One would be the Sharks, the other would be the Minnows. The Minnows would wear flags, and the goal of the game was for the Minnows to get to the other side of the gym without their flag being pulled. That's the Sharks and Minnows I knew.
All right, so everybody goes to the deep end. You all get out of the pool and you line up on opposite sides of the deep end. Or you all get out of the pool and you line up on one side of the deep end, and one person gets to be the shark. Okay? And then when you say, I don't remember what the key phrase was, but there was something that you say is like, it's time for everybody to cross, and you swim out in the middle. Okay? And then everybody has to get past you, and if you touch them, they turn into sharks.
Okay.
All you have to do is touch them. But here's the extra crazy thing. When you're doing it in a pool, you're doing it in 3 dimensions.
Oh, geez.
So people can go above you or underneath you, and you have to swim over to them in order to, like... It's a whole thing. Alright, I need to find a way to... Oh, there's a... So you can definitely drain the moat somehow. I need to drain the moat.
Pull the sticks down there.
Okay. You are correct.
So yeah, Sharks
But
and
now
Minnows.
here's another thing. The vent at the bottom of the pool that pulled the water away to be cleaned was the safe zone. You could not be tagged by a shark if you were touching the vent at the bottom of the pool.
Really?
Yeah. You see how this adds an extra layer of mystique.
Yeah. You gotta be fucking careful with that, though, because those things come off, you're in big trouble.
What, the vent at the bottom of the pool?
Yeah.
Explain.
Like, well, then again, if it comes off, it's less on you and more on the people who, like, maintain the pool, because that should always be, like, secured. But also just... Oh, then I can get into water, but... like, if those if the covers come off, then, like, something can get caught in there, and that can fucking kill you. I know that because, you know, like, I was talking to a maintenance guy who maintains the pool, and he was, like, one time, like, the vent, was kinda coming off, and he was shocked that he wasn't told about it immediately, because people have died, and you can lose your pool licenses if you don't make sure that's always covered and always properly sealed.
Gotcha. This is one of those, damn it, Chloe, don't walk on the tracks kind of things, isn't it?
Yeah, kinda. Just, and also, so I know the guy, he's someone that I rail against often, because he's a fucking idiot. But it's just like, you saw that there's a problem. Why didn't you say something? Oh, I just forgot. And it's like, oh, well, you know, you're in a position of authority. You don't just forget. This is something you have to do.
Sounds like him to forget.
Yeah. Well, it's not the complete fucking idiot guy that I always rail against. It's the guy who's made it into a management position that he kind of doesn't deserve.
All right, I want to keep talking about swimming on the next episode of The Arch Place.
Okay, cool.
The next one will be the last one for this session.
Yeah, cool.
All right, next time in The Arch Place.
So let's go.